What's going on, boys? Welcome into another NASCAR Cup Series breakdown. This week, we're at Richmond. I got my guy Coop with me like normal, and away we go. What's going on, Coop? Another 2-0 sweep on last week's video for you and I. How you feeling, bro? You just got the Run Pure Bet subscribers a nice plus 900 win in the truck race for anybody that's in our Discord. So great job by you. How you doing, buddy?
Very good, man. Very good. I mean, Discord is the place to be, man. You got to be in Discord. That's where you get the good juicy live bets. And then, from a DFS perspective, there's a lot of knowledgeable people in there to help you and get the information. But, Discord is the place to be, man. Love it.
All right, so let's quickly recap last weekend. Another race where Martin Truex Jr. just continues to get stronger as the race goes on. And again, he finds himself with another win. You and I thought that it was a Joe Gibbs weekend, like in general. But what are your thoughts? Were you surprised with how poorly Penske was last weekend?
Yeah, I was surprised at how poorly Penske was. And I use that term loosely because they have been so superior. It's not like they were dog shit or anything. But I think the other thing, I was surprised at how well Denny Hamlin was. He led, a good majority of that race. But the biggest surprise for me in that entire race was Kyle Larson, man. I thought the guy was going to, have a, average race after what we've seen these first 6 or 7 races from him. I was expecting him to finish, 8th through 12th, somewhere in that ballpark. But, I mean, he, from the get-go, drove right up there, and he had a very, very good car the entire day. So, I liked what I saw from that. And then, again, like we keep talking about, Hendrick Motorsports, and, I think we could go back and look, and it could be maybe 1 or 2 races that might not have happened. But they've had all 4 cars in the top 10 once again, and I bet you they've had it in the majority of races this year. They are very good.
I was just going to say that, like you and I, who have been so pro Hendrick Motorsports this year, last weekend was the first weekend where we were like, we probably don't expect Hendrick to contend for a win, but at the end of the race, what happens? Elliott finishes second, Will Byron in the top 5, Kyle Larson in the top 5. So, I mean, Hendrick Motorsports this year is just ridiculous. And to be fair, Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin this year have been ridiculous also.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
All right, so let's talk about this week. We're at Richmond. I had to coach my daughter's softball game. I caught like the last 40 laps of the truck race today. What did you see in today's truck race that you feel will translate over to tomorrow? Anything?
Well, fresh air in the front is king. That's no surprise. But, if you have a very good car, you can pass, and you can pass, to get up front. And, we learned there at the end, tires do matter. On the short runs, they're going to equal out as the runs get longer. But if you got fresh tires, you can go. I think Kyle Busch and John Hunter Nemechek were started like 9th and 10th and 11th, somewhere in that restart. And, by 20 laps, they were first and second. So fresh tires do mean something there. But, I don't know. I don't expect to see tomorrow what we saw in a truck race. These truck races are fine to watch and all that, but man, they're getting a little old, man, because it's flipping caution after caution after caution, and it's just so hard to get into a flow of being able to watch it. And the excitement on these mile-and-a-half tracks for them is very good because they race very, very well. But you just got to stick in there, hang in there with the trucks, and watch it. But those were really the things I learned. I saw where you can make up some positions on the outside, but you better get down quickly because in the long run, you want to be on the inside. But on restarts and things like that, you can gain some laps on the outside, but you don't want to be there very long.
So Richmond is a weird track, right? It's a tweener. It's not your half mile track like Martinsville or Bristol, and it's not a mile track like the Monster Mile. It's 3/4 of a mile, something that we really don't see in NASCAR. So like when you enter handicapping a Richmond race in general, what are you looking for? Like last week, you and I knew track position at Martinsville is king, right? In general, when you handicap a race at Richmond.
Drivers who can perform well on a flat track is what the biggest key for me is this week. Because you can pass. It's still not easy, but it's definitely not as hard as some of the other tracks, and especially like a Martinsville last week. So track position is important, but it's not as important as last week. But really, for me, it's being able to, drive that flat track and be able to get your tires down on that yellow line throughout the corners.
So if we're talking about race teams this week, to me, it feels like a Gibbs weekend because Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin are so much better than everybody else. I feel like on this track. Now, if Kyle Busch was in like Kyle Busch form, like he was the last decade, he owns this track. But I mean, until we see him have a car where he can actually win a race, I can't really consider him. But do you agree that it feels like a Gibbs weekend?
Yeah, I would put Gibbs first. Then I would put Hendrick second.
Yeah.
Then I would put Penske third. And I think the difference between each one of them is a fairly good step, in my opinion. I think, Truex and Hamlin, they're on another planet right now compared to everybody else. Kyle Larson is looking to jump into that planet because he's been very close, and I don't think he's very far off. And then, Hendrick, just in general, their drivers have been solid all year. The results for them don't show it as well as what they have driven because, they've been in some bad situations or they put themselves into some bad situations. And then Penske just isn't as good on this track as what they have been at Bristol and Martinsville when it comes to the short tracks. But, I don't discount Logano, Keselowski either.
So last week you cashed on our video, not counting what we did on the live betting show, which we made people money on the live betting show. But last week you were on Chase Elliott as the top Chevy at plus 150, and he got the job done and almost won the race. And I was on Will Byron to finish in the top 10. And here we are again, yet another week where Will Byron is in that minus 110 range to finish in the top 10. And he's done it 6 or 7 straight times this year. He's going for either number 7 or number 8. I'm not sure. One of those. What do you think Will Byron touches the top 10 again?
I think the chances of him touching the top 10 are very good. Richmond hasn't been one of his best tracks, but he's kind of debunked, the track history
this
year compared to what he has been. So I kind of look past that. But I mean, he has had some good races at some of the other short, flat tracks. So I definitely think he's in there for a top 10. And you'll probably be hearing a little bit more about Will Byron later in this video.
Now, if we go by average finish over the last 5 races, Kyle Larson is sitting about 14th. He's got 3 top 10s in 4 races here at Richmond since February of 2018. So do you think that Larson or Elliott will contend for the win this week?
Most definitely they have the opportunity to. One thing that I got to go back and look at, I haven't had a chance yet, is Bob Pockross had a video on Twitter. And it was, I think, Austin Dillon and Brad Keselowski, or there were 2 people on there. And the title of it was, where last year these drivers took 2 sets of tires in the last stage versus 1 that they've done previously. And do they think people will do that again this year? So, this race very well could come into a strategy race, whether it be gas or tires. So, definitely thinking that, and then, depending upon how we see the cautions fall, you could definitely see some not surprise winners, but, get Elliott or Larson, who you don't expect to win at this track based upon, Truex and Hamlin's dominance, end up there at the end also.
What do you expect this week from our guy, Kevin Harvick?
Our guy, Kevin Harvick.
That's our guy.
That's our guy. Very loosely, our guy.
That's right.
You're going to hear a little bit more about Kevin Harvick in this video too. Kevin Harvick is he's going to get it. It's going to happen, and it could be this week. Who knows when it's going to happen? If
you look at his last 10 races here, he has been in the top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 out of the last 10. He's been in the top 5.
Yep. So, let's put it this way. I've been a big proponent of betting or playing Kevin Harvick in DFS this year. But the pendulum is starting to slide slightly to I want to play him and or bet him. So it's getting there. And, that team is too good. They're going to figure it out. And I want to be on it when they figure it out, put it that way. So I might be taking some chances with Kevin Harvick because the numbers are starting to, go in his favor. At the beginning of the year when he was still struggling, you were still paying the price for Kevin Harvick and his name and his prior year results. Now they're starting to slip a little bit. And I want to start getting in on it.
Can you imagine that he's 11-1 to win this race? I bet you last year he was probably 5-1 to win this race.
Most definitely.
All right, so the only Ford that has a better average finish over the last 10 races than Harvick is Joey Logano. What do you expect out of him this week?
I expect him to bounce back strong. We could put him in that contender box with Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson that could win this race. Joey has been fairly strong at this racetrack. He's led a decent amount of laps. I think I put in my DFS article, he's led more laps in the last 5 or 6 races than Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin combined. So, he can get there. I'm not going to discount him. He's somebody I will watch.
I'm looking for my guy. Where is he? All right. So just to round off Penske, what do you think about Keselowski and Blaney this week?
Blaney, for whatever reason, and I've dug deep into Blaney, he struggles at this track for whatever reason. Five races, no better finish of 17th. I went back to check. He has not had any DNFs. He's not had any accidents, anything like that. It's just he doesn't get it for whatever reason. Keselowski, bad starting position, but he could win this race in stupid Diesel Brett Keselowski, fashion, where he just slowly manipulates his way to the front, and then all of a sudden, come the end, he's in there at the end, and he leads 20 laps, and part of those 20 laps is the last 20 laps, and he wins the race.
Do you agree with me that I don't think track position means as much as last week? I think these guys are going to be able to pass.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Track position is not nearly as important as last week.
All right, so let's dig into what we're looking at. Martin Truex Jr. gets the pole, right? Now, what are the odds that you think that he actually takes stage one since he's on the pole? This is the lowest stage one price that we have seen since we took Chase Elliott on the road course. He is only 2.5 to 1 to cash a stage one ticket. What do you think about that?
I'm not paying that number.
It's light, right?
We bet him at 7 to 1 to win stage one at Bristol.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
he pulled it away for us. So,
I agree.
I'm not betting 2.5 to 1. And I saw an interesting stat this week. All right, there's been like 1,950 roughly laps this year in NASCAR.
Yeah.
How many do you think the pole setter has led?
180.
No, I don't know what the number comes out to, but it's less than 180. 0.02%.
0.02?
Yeah.
Wow. And most of that had to be Chase Elliott in that road course.
It's ridiculous, man. Without qualifying, without practice, they're lining up from how they finished last week at a track that usually doesn't compare to the track that they're going to the next week. And, the best cars are on the front, so, who knows? This though is a week that I think that could debunk that.
Do you have your sports book up right now? Do you have DK up?
Yeah, what you want?
All right, so let's take a look at these.
Very quick.
All right, so I got it up too. Let's take a look at these matchups. The first matchup that jumps off the page to me is Will Byron at even money against Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney is minus 135, and Byron is even money in that matchup. Does that make sense to you?
Well, this is the deal. That's going to be the pick that I put on the video this week.
What?
All right. Will Byron.
Come on, Coop.
Against Ryan Blaney.
This fucking guy. I'll tell you what. Stealing my shit. All right. So then we're in complete agreement.
Yeah. I already told you what I thought about the two of them.
I thought you were going to come at me with a Kevin Harvick play. I thought that was the play.
I might. I got 4 plays, but the one that I feel most confident about is this one that we're talking about.
Imagine that we didn't talk about that all week, and we both landed on the same. I'll tell you what, bro, that's going on the spreadsheet.
It's racing and anything could happen.
Of course.
But if you look at the numbers,
100%.
It's right. It's completely wrong. It should not be that number for Byron against Ryan Blaney.
100%. And Will Byron plus 110 to be in the top 10 again, bro. And I'm gonna be on it again.
Basically, Vegas is saying, we believe in Ryan Blaney and what he's done this year. We don't believe in Will Byron and what he's done this year.
Yeah, and you and I are big Will Byron guys.
And track history for Ryan Blaney means a diddly squat, is what they're saying.
Yep.
So
wow.
So yeah.
I'm pulling the trigger. That's going to be a dime. 100%. Me and you are both on the same side. All right, what do you think about Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick? What do you think about that matchup?
I need to look into it deeper. I thought about it, but I didn't, really go into depth with it because, as you know, I did talk to you about a Kevin Harvick bet that he liked. So I don't know if I want to bet him against Kyle Busch. I'd rather bet him against two other people.
What do you think about Chase Elliott being the underdog in a matchup against Joey Logano?
Yeah. Again, that's basically them saying, Chase isn't having a great year so far. It is going to happen. He is going to come around. And his track history is solid, but it's nothing spectacular here by any means. He has done very good at Phoenix, which is a flat track. And he's been very good in Loudon, which is a flat track. So, I have no issues taking Chase Elliott over Joey Logano.
What do you think about Kyle Larson and Keselowski, both at the same price? I lean Larson there.
I would still have to lean Keselowski.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
You think he shows up this week?
I mean, it's nothing bad against Kyle Larson by any means, but Keselowski could show up. Who knows? But I just don't trust Kyle Larson on these short tracks, even with the great performance he had last week, as much as what I do with Brad Keselowski.
All right, so let's get to the picks. There were 3 picks that I was going to talk about today. One of them you and I are both on, right? We both like Byron at even money in that matchup against Ryan Blaney. Okay, so we both love that, right? So that's going to be a pick for the both of us. Second was, I don't mind a little stab at Will Byron to be the top Chevy at plus 700. Like, he was so close last week to being the top Chevy. I mean, we got the win with Elliott with your pick, but why can't Will Byron be top Chevy this week at plus 700?
There's no reason why he can't. This isn't a dominant track for any one of these Hendrick drivers by any means. And Will Byron could definitely be the top Chevy.
And the third play, I'm going back to the well again. Will Byron, top 10, plus 110. Those are the 3 looks that I would be on that, I'll say I'm on for the purposes of the video. And obviously, Coop is on the same play with the Byron matchup. So what else are you liking, Coop?
All right. These plays I will not bet until I do a little bit more research or we go through the inspection process tomorrow. Because I don't want to, put money on a driver and then them have fall to the rear.
Oh, that's a great point that Coop just said. Wait until they pass inspection so you don't bet on a guy that's starting 40th tomorrow. So great point by you. Yeah. All right,
especially if you're doing a stage type of bet. You don't want to do that.
Yep.
But the first one is on DK, best finish in Group E. Ryan Newman plus 245, Ricky Stenhouse plus 245, Bubba plus 245, and Cole Custer plus 275. I like Ryan Newman at plus 245.
Okay.
He's very good on these short, flat tracks. Historically, he's having a solid season. Bubba's still up and down. Ricky Stenhouse is due for some regression. He's been incredibly consistent this year. And, Cole Custer, he's the wild card in there. He doesn't have a lot of experience on here. But, I'm thinking about that one. That's one of the ones that I'm thinking about.
And that, just so the viewers know, that's available at what book?
DK.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. The next 2 are on BetMGM. And it's along your lines of the Will Byron plus 700. We've talked about Kevin Harvick, and I like him as the top Ford. He's starting to get some money, and I like the plus 360 that they're willing to lay on him. We've already talked about Blaney. I don't see him being a big factor. And it would come down to Harvick beating Logano and Keselowski. And why can't he? We haven't been paying a lot of attention to Kevin Harvick at the end of these races. He has top 10s. He's not competing for wins. He's not a super fast car this year so far. But, he has been finishing strong at the end. And that's what matters. Having a good car at the end of the race and coming back and, nailing those top 10s until he can get there. And, like I said, this is more of a bet if I lay into it, is that I want to be on Kevin Harvick before other people get onto him, while we can still get some, good numbers on him. If it was like a plus 150, I would not even think about it. It probably needs to be plus 300 or better before I even think about it. I like the plus 360. That's part of it. The other one that we were talking about, we weren't talking about, but is Hendrick to win the race. Get plus 310. They're consistently having drivers in the top 10. That right there alone gives them a great opportunity to win a race. Chase Elliott's due. He's coming around. We've already seen what Kyle Larson can do this year. William Byron's being inconsistent. Alex Bowman isn't far off. He's just been put in about a couple bad situations and spots. So I like that number again for plus 310. I think it should be closer to maybe a plus 240, 250. They're not giving, Hendrick the due respect they deserve. And they're giving Truex and Hamlin too much in that aspect, because I think Gibbs is plus 140.
Plus 160. I like the rationale behind that. I mean, they have 3 cars in the top 8, like almost every race. So, I mean, yeah, the rationale there makes sense. And just to say something about your Kevin Harvick play, last year he was plus 120 all year long to be the top Ford. The fact that you can get him at plus 360 right now, I mean, that sums up his year right there.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, if Kevin Harvick comes out and, he's finishes, let's say 4th, 5th, or 6th, and he's the top Ford next week, that plus 360 goes down to probably plus 300, it's just, I want to get on him at the right time. And I might be, throwing away some money here and there until it happens, but I know it's going to happen because the guy's too good. And again, I'm not betting him to win by any means, because he doesn't have the speed, but I think he can, beat some of his teammates and Ford teammates too.
All right, boys. So there you have it. Coop is on Hendrick to win the race at plus 3. Oh, good.
So I have a challenge for you.
A challenge?
Yeah, a challenge. You ready?
You okay?
Okay. We've been pretty damn good. All right. And we've won a lot of money, and we've won the viewers a lot of money.
Okay.
And we've done very well. But there's room for improvement. Okay.
There's room for improvement?
Yeah, there's room for improvement.
This guy.
Because it's really irritating me the last couple of weeks. All right. We got to get better on these short tracks near the end of the race. It's a lot harder because they're not running speeds, and we can't see it, and we can't see them click off the speeds as well as what we can on like a 1.5 mile, 2 mile track or so.
Yeah.
But we've been close to pulling the trigger, all right, on a Martin Truex at like 10-1 and Joey Logano at 10 to 12-1.
Yeah.
And around that 50 lap left, like we were right there, but we didn't pull the trigger. We were thinking about it, contemplating about it, but we just didn't do it. We got to get better. We got to get better.
We did.
Yeah, but we didn't pull it when they were 10 to 11 to 12 to 1. We pulled it when they were.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, we got Logano really, really late.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we did get Truex at 9 to 1 last week.
Well, yeah, it was hard. Again, I fell victim of not being able to be on Bet365 because the other people have already adjusted him well down to where I wasn't going to pay 150 or 200 for him at that time. So my challenge to you, and it's my challenge too, man. It's just not you, it's me. All right, is we've got to get better. At that 50, 60 lap, point, seeing these cars come through, and hitting that trigger when they're 10 to 1 and 11 to 1 and 12 to 1.
You're talking about that point of no return where I understand what you're saying. I mean, we are up like a million units, but I get it.
We got to keep challenging ourselves, man. We can't become complacent.
I don't disagree because there was, I would say 35% of the people that watched last week was able to get Truex at a really good price late. But the other 65% of the people, unfortunately, weren't able to get on it. So I agree with you. I think we could be better too. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I'm not trying to diss us by any means whatsoever. I'm just trying to make us better, man.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
We can't become complacent, man.
Yep.
So here I am, man. Straight off of a 900 to 1, John Hunter.
I mean, come on,
I'm sitting there busting our balls, man.
The last two races, we hit 9 to 1 on Truex. You hit John Hunter Nemechek at 9 to 1, and I'm listening to Coop tell me how we got to get better. I mean, what a world we live in. I'll tell you.
We can't be complacent.
All right, so we're out of here. Coop and I will be back later on tonight. I'll be on at 7 o'clock, live betting the whole night. I'm sure there'll be some people coming in and out. JJ will be on at 6 o'clock, breaking down the MLB slate, and that's it. So Coop is on Hendrick Motorsports plus 310. He likes the shot on Kevin.
I'm not going to bet them until tomorrow, man. I'll let you know.
Yeah, but we're still.
Those are the ones I'm thinking about.
Well, so you don't want to give them out as picks?
I want to watch what happens in inspection tomorrow. I want to do a little bit more, man. The one that I'm on, is the Blaney. Byron over Blaney. Those are the other ones I'm watching.
All right,
I'll let you know before we. I'll have plenty of time before. Just be in Discord.
All right, so for the purposes of the video, then we both love Will Byron in that matchup. Mm-hmm. That's going on the spreadsheet as soon as this video is over. Second, I'm going to take Will Byron to finish in the top 10 again at plus 110, and I think I'm going to throw a little sprinkle on him to be the top Chevy at plus 700. So other than that, subscribers, you could ask Coop and I anything in the NASCAR chat room, and we'll be there. And Coop and I will be back. Besides tonight, we'll be on tomorrow at 2:30 for the Richmond race obviously on our YouTube channel, open to the public. It's been a sick year so far. Hopefully, we can keep it going. So we will see you guys tonight. For Coop, myself, hope your action runs pure this weekend. We'll catch you later.